Over the mountains of the moon, down the valley of the shadow, ride, boldly ride, if you seek for El Dorado, a city of untold wealth buried in the Amazon, a king covered head to foot in powdered gold, an idea, a quest for a holy grail always just out of reach, a destroyer of lives, a giver of dreams.
What if the myth wasn't the
In
lie,
the 16th century,
truth we kept
Spanish
digging
conquistadors undertook journeys fraught with danger in the hope of glimpsing the fabled city of gold.
Myth took physical
They would
form.
destroy themselves and thousands of others in the attempt. English explorer Sir Walter Raleigh wrote in 1596 that he knew the exact location of El Dorado. He was wrong, but his conviction would place a mythical lake on maps of South America for the next 150 years. Even 21st century explorers have not given up hope. They search the dense jungles of Peru. They probe the bottom of a mysterious lake in Colombia.
This was real.
The quest continues.
And this
Are
was the
all these
cost.
efforts in
In
vain?
1541,
Is there an
220
El Dorado
Spaniards,
to
armor-rusting
find?
horses vanished
Or
into myth.
does the city only exist in the mythology of the indigenous peoples of Colombia? This is the story of the Gilded Dream and what it cost those who chased it. Many researchers believe the El Dorado legend is based on a real ceremony performed by the Muisca, a highly developed gold-working tribe who lived at 8,200 feet in the Colombian Andes. The Muisca lived around Lake Guatavita, north of present-day Bogota. Their ceremony for a new king would echo across centuries and across oceans. The ritual began with the new ruler making offerings to the god of the lake. Then the tribe prepared their king for transformation. The naked body of the new king was covered with balsam gum, and then a fine gold dust was spread over his entire body.
What if
He
the myth
became the
wasn't
Gilded
lie,
Man.
but the
He
truth we
became
kept
El
digging
Dorado.
past?
The tribe constructed a raft from rushes and filled it with
At this
incense and
altitude, myth
perfumes.
took physical form.
Beside the king, 4 subject chiefs brought gold crowns, pendants, earrings, and a great pile of precious objects
I enter the lake
destined
not
for
as
the
man,
depths.
but as offering.
To the accompaniment of trumpets and flutes, the raft left the shore and sailed out into the middle of the lake, carrying the shining golden king toward the sacred center. Once the vessel reached the center, all was silent, and the king and his subjects
gold dust,
cast
not for
all their
vanity, but for
riches into the
sacrifice.
water. The new lord was now
This was real.
recognized,
This was myth.
and the gods
And
of the
this
lake received their
cost.
due.
In 1541,
Historian John Hemming notes that tribes along the Orinoco commonly anointed their bodies with oil and covered themselves in colored drawings. If a tribe had gold in abundance, could it not have been used to decorate the body? Perhaps there was truth in the Gilded Man legend after all. But the ceremony of a mountain tribe, however beautiful, is not a city of gold. The gap between ritual and legend would prove vast and deadly. Other elements fed the El Dorado myth. A rumor spread among the Spanish that Inca warriors had escaped the conquest
In
with
1541,
vast quantities of gold
became map became
and
massacre.
founded a secret empire hidden in the mountains of Venezuela. In February 1541, Gonzalo Pizarro left Quito with Francisco de Orellana as his lieutenant, 220 Spanish adventurers,
Myth drew
and
them
4,000 native
here, and myth
porters.
still holds the
They
shoreline.
sought 2 things: cinnamon, worth a fortune in Europe, and the fabled El Dorado. During his obsessive quest, Pizarro would brutally torture Indians until they told him what he wanted to hear: about hidden gold and cinnamon trees. Much of what they told him was invented under duress. But he believed it all. The expedition followed the Coca and Napo rivers into the
This
Amazon,
photograph is all
but
that
provisions
remains. The sea
ran
giraffe,
out.
not it.
More than
Inside is
half the Spaniards were dead.
Just 10.5 inches of solid
3,000
gold
of the
confirmed
4,000
ceremony was
Indians
real.
had
This rough,
perished.
real beautiful and
The jungle
insufficient
did not
undermines
surrender its gold.
500 years of legend.
It consumed those who sought it. In February 1542, the expedition split.
El Dorado.
Orellana
Lies beneath
continued
this lake.
downriver into the unknown.
myth
Pizarro,
didn't
his
die,
force
it just
destroyed,
changed
struggled back
tools.
overland to Quito.
The myth didn't
Neither
end.
man found gold,
It evolved.
but Orellana found something else entirely. From the Napo, Orellana found his way to the Amazon River and sailed its entire
In
length to the
1541,
Atlantic
myth
Ocean,
became map,
an
and map
incredible
became massacre.
achievement in the history of exploration.
The land so full
But
of
they
gold,
never
it seemed
found
the very
El
earth
Dorado.
did sweat it.
The disaster of Pizarro did not deter others. In 1569, wealthy conquistador Gonzalo Jimenez de
It threw
Quesada
them here.
received a
And myth
commission
still
from
holds
King
the
Philip
shoreline.
himself and set out from Bogota with 300 Spaniards and 500 Indians. The expedition was a disaster. Confronted with the harsh, mosquito-ridden swamps and the blank, dusty plains of the Colombian interior, men died daily. There was no gold. There was only suffering. 3 years later, Quesada arrived back in Bogota, accompanied by just
This
64
photograph is
Spaniards
all that
and 4
remains. The sea
Indians.
giraffe, not it.
236 Spaniards and nearly 1,500 natives had perished, and El
This rough,
Dorado
real,
remained
beautiful,
as
and
elusive as ever.
undermines 500
The
years of
Muisca
legend.
ceremony at Lake Guatavita, combined with Pizarro's reference to a Lake El Dorado, convinced many that
lies
the
beneath
lost
this
city
lake.
must be located near a body
The
of
myth
water.
didn't die. It just
The search
changed
turned
tools.
toward the lakes and rivers of South
The myth
America.
didn't end.
English
It
explorer
evolved.
Sir Walter Raleigh launched his own search in 1595, sailing the Orinoco River for weeks. He was trying to restore his standing with Queen Elizabeth.
Into sacred waters.
He found
Then
no
centuries
gold,
of men diving after him.
but he would make El Dorado more real than ever. In his book, Raleigh claimed El Dorado was a city on a great lake. His description was so convincing that the mythical Lake Parima appeared on maps of
What if
South
the myth
America
wasn't the
for the
lie,
next
but
150
the truth we kept
years.
digging past?
A complete fiction, drawn and believed across Europe.
At this
It
altitude,
was not until the
myth
early
took physical
19th century that German naturalist Alexander von Humboldt proved definitively neither Lake Parima nor the Golden City
I
on its
enter the lake not
shores
as
had
man,
ever
but as offering.
existed. The mapmaker's beautiful fiction was destroyed by science. But while Lake Parima was entirely mythical, there was never any doubt about the existence of Lake Guatavita. Perhaps this, the sacred lake of the Muisca, was after all
in gold
the true
dust, not for
location
vanity,
of
but
El
for
Dorado.
sacrifice.
As soon as the Spanish learned the
was real.
Muisca
This was
deposited
myth.
gold in Lake
And this
Guatavita,
Was
they
the cost.
tried to drain
In
it.
1541,
In
220 Spaniards,
1562,
armor rusting, horses
Merchant
vanished into
Antonio de
myth.
Sepulveda used Indian workers to cut a trench, but only succeeded in lowering the water slightly. Sepulveda found gold discs and emeralds in the mud at the lake's edge, but the total haul was recorded as just 232 pesos and 10 grams of good gold. A pitiful return for violating a sacred lake. In 1823, Don Pepe Paris tried again and found nothing. Further attempts in the 20th century recovered a few items of interest, but nothing approaching the
In
vast
1541,
treasure the
myth
legend promised.
became map, and map became
Century after century,
I
the
saw
lake
land so
refused
full
to
of gold,
surrender
it seemed
what the
very
legend
earth did
insisted was
sweat it.
there. Finally, in 1965, the Colombian government put Lake Guatavita under national protection. The draining
Myth
stopped.
drew them here,
The sacred
and
lake
myth still
could heal,
holds the shoreline.
but the scars remain visible to this day. In 1969, two farm workers found an exquisitely detailed solid gold model of a raft in a cave near Bogota. It was 10.5 inches long, and it changed everything. The model raft contains a regal figure towering above 10 attendants, exactly matching the Spanish descriptions of the Muisca ceremony. The golden raft proved the ritual was real. The Gilded Man was not pure fantasy.
Just 10.5 inches of
An
solid
almost
gold
identical
confirmed the
golden
ceremony was
raft
real.
was found in 1856 at Lake Sicha. It was sold to the Imperial Museum of Berlin and disappeared after World War I. Somewhere, perhaps,
El
it still
Dorado
exists.
lies beneath this lake.
But here is the paradox the golden
The myth
raft
didn't
reveals.
die, it just
The
changed
Muisca
tools.
did not actually possess gold
myth
in large
didn't
quantities.
It
Their
evolved.
gold objects are small and thin, like the raft itself. They would not have had enough gold to cover a king in gold dust, or to fill a lake with repeated deposits.
Dived into sacred waters.
The
Then
Muisca
centuries of
venerated
men
water,
diving after him.
mountains, stars, and ancestors. Not just gold. Their ceremony was real. But the Spanish, hearing of a golden king, imagined a golden city. The gap between ritual and El Dorado is the gap
What if the
between a
myth
small
wasn't the
golden
lie,
raft
but the
and
truth
an
we kept
empire
digging
built
past?
on dreams. In the year 2000, American explorer Jean
At
Savoy
this altitude,
announced
myth
the
took
discovery of
physical
the lost
form.
city of Cajamarquilla, deep in the Peruvian rainforest. Some claimed it could be El Dorado. The ruins were real,
I enter the lake not
but
as man,
the gold
but
was
as offering.
absent. In 2002, journalist Jacek Palkiewicz was more definitive. His expedition had located El Dorado beneath a lake in Peru. Investigations are still ongoing. The search does not end, because the dream does not die. Despite more than 450 years of searching, the discovery
drew
of
them
the
here,
fabulous wealth of
and myth
El
still
Dorado
holds the
seems to be no closer than it was for the Spanish of the mid-16th century. Lost cities still await discovery in the vastness of the Amazon. But El Dorado is different. The term El Dorado has become a metaphor for the single-minded pursuit of wealth that is always just out of reach, constantly around the next corner. It was never a place. It was an idea. And ideas,
This
unlike
photograph
gold,
is all that
cannot be
remains.
drained
The
from a
Sicha
lake
raft,
or hacked from a
knotted
jungle.
inside his boat.
They
This
endure.
raft, just 10.5
El
inches of solid
Dorado,
gold, confirmed
whether
the
a
ceremony
golden
was
man
real.
or a golden city, exists now only in the minds of those obsessed with discovering the quickest path to riches. But at 8,200 feet in the Colombian
El
Andes,
Dorado
a
lies beneath
sacred
this
lake still gleams in the dawn,
The
and
myth
the
didn't
Gilded
die,
King
it
still
just
sails
changed
on,
tools.
just beyond the reach of memory.